Hi, I'm Grant. We've got no time for long intros. We've got 700 years worth of Assassin's Creed games to get through. It's even a mouthful just trying to say it. Be warned, there's a couple of spoilers here, so warning, lay down. I just want to thank Megaron before we start for helping us make this video. Let's do this. The original Assassin's Creed. This is the one that started it all. The game introduced us to the Assassin's Guild in the form of Altair ibn Lahad. The Assassin's White Hood, the Hidden Blade, parkour and free running movement, and a penchant for making suicidal jumps from really high places into really strange bales of hay, all made their debut here. As games go, Assassin's Creed was more of an extended intro into both the universe and the kind of game that the franchise would end up to be. As a fully fleshed out game though, it was a little bit bare, but it really did set the stage for a whole bunch of open world games for this generation. Taking place in 1191 in Jerusalem, Acre and Damascus, Altair is charged with taking out 9 Templars, the assassin's ancient enemy, as punishment for botching the game's opening mission. This is also where we meet Desmond Miles, the game's actual main character, who's reliving the lives of his ancestors via a supercomputer called the Animus. Because we couldn't just make this an old game for some reason. Assassin's Creed Altair's Chronicles. Made for the Nintendo DS, Altair's Chronicles is a spin-off slash prequel to the first game that gives Altair a new mission and adds the cities of Tyre and Aleppo. The game is a bit of a departure from the series' gameplay since it's more of a puzzler and an action game. It's also the first game to abandon the whole Desmond reliving the past conceit, something the series as a whole would drop eventually as well. Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. Bloodlines takes Altair to Cyprus to, you guessed it, assassinize more Templars. Bloodlines came out on the PSP and plays pretty much like the home console versions, just a little bit smaller. Like the original Assassin's Creed game, it's a bit of an empty experience. For those that care about the lore of the game though, it's important because this is where Altair meets Maria Thorpe, a Templar who would eventually go on to become Altair's wife and by extension Desmond's great grandmother. Assassin's Creed 2. With the demo that was the first game and the handheld spin-offs completely out of the way, Ubisoft could finally make a real game. This time the action moved forward 300 or so years into the future and then changed the geography to Italy. Ezio is our main man taking over from the old Altair. Ubisoft came out with a much more complete game with Assassin's Creed 2. The story was better, Ezio's a more rounded character, and a lot of the elements introduced in the first game are just better used here. Honestly, you can just skip the first game and just start here, but I wouldn't recommend it because I quite like running around Damascus. Assassin's Creed 2 Discovery. Discovery was Ezio's turn to make a run on the Nintendo DS, and was mainly an excuse to send Ezio to Spain, where he gets to battle, you won't expect this, the Spanish Inquisition. Did you see what I did there? It was a Monty Python reference. Get it? Because of that old classic sketch? Never mind. Anyway, Ezio kicks Templar butt in Spain, meets Christopher Columbus, and rescues some of his Templar buddies. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Brotherhood is kind of the middle chapter of what many fans call the Ezio trilogy. The game picks up where Assassin's Creed 2 ends, with Ezio in Rome continuing his battle against the Borgia family. With the help of assassin Niccolo Machiavelli, Ezio rebuilds the Roman chapter of the Assassin's Guild, hence the Brotherhood subtitle. That ties into the gameplay as well, as Ezio can call on other assassins for assistance. The game also introduced the Assassin's Creed tradition of having a secondary strategy management type game alongside all the assassinating. Throughout the game you'd have to capture Borgia-owned towers to free areas of the city from their influence. Brotherhood was also the first Assassin's Creed to dabble in multiplayer, which turned out okay, I guess. I quite liked it. Assassin's Creed Revelations. The concluding chapter of the Ezio trilogy also tells us a lot more about the original assassin, Altair. A much older Ezio finds himself in Constantinople in search of the keys to Altair's library to reveal startling, dun dun dun, revelations. The game added the hook blade, which was a great new way to get around, and also a bomb crafting system for combat. The Borgia Tower invasions became a lot more interesting, and Ezio gets to pull a Desmond by reliving Altair's memories. As closing chapters go, this was its end in a rather cool way. Spoiler alert, Desmond interacting directly with his ancestors. It remains one of the series' coolest moments. Assassin's Creed 3. It's about 250 years later and the assassins find themselves in America. America! This time, Desmond finds himself reliving the life of the half Mohawk Indian, half British Radun Harkadun, or for English speakers, Connor Kenway. It's the American Revolution and the Patriots are battling the British for control of the New World and also the actual world, though nobody but the assassins really knows about this. Assassin's Creed 3 was a big step forward for the series, adding tons of new combat techniques, free running in the bushes, not just in the cities, you could do crazy stuff in trees, and the best part, naval warfare. On the story side, the game is also a pretty big deal because the game is Desmond's last appearance, since he totally dies and the larger danger to the world becomes just a little bit more clear. Assassin's Creed Liberation. The Liberation story happens concurrently to Assassin's Creed 3 and has the first playable woman assassin to feature in the series, Aveline. Aveline's story is pretty much its own thing and stands on its own, which is appropriate since it was released on the PlayStation Vita. The game messes a bit with the series gameplay as Aveline can take on 3 personas, assassin, lady, and slave, that allow her to infiltrate different areas and use specific abilities.
Alright lads, I'll give you Blackbeard's honest opinion. You ask me, can this new captain promise you a life of prizes, plunder, and adventure? Aye. For amongst all the gentlemen of fortune sailing these West Indies, he ranks amongst the most clever. Only, don't meddle in his private affairs. For there's more mystery to that man than even I dare ask.
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Okay, even though there's a number 4 in the title, this game actually takes place 45 years or so before Assassin's Creed 3. So it's a prequel. So Black Flag is considered the best game in the series and was the first game to appear on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 after an initial release on 360 and PlayStation 3. Black Flag stars the grandfather of Assassin's Creed 3's Connor, Edward Kenway. Unlike the other assassins, Edward kind of falls into joining the Brotherhood instead of having it passed on to him. As the name suggests, this game is all about piracy. The old-timely kind with boats and peg legs, not the new kind that involves sharing T-Swizzle songs. The naval combat and recruiting a pirate crew were praised highlights of the game, and many felt Black Flag was a better pirate simulator than an Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. Originally a piece of DLC content for Black Flag, Freedom Cry was later released as a standalone game, and for an Assassin's Creed game, it does pretty much stand alone. It focuses on Adderwell, Edward Kenway's former crewman of Black Flag's Edward Kenway, as he battles slavery in the Caribbean. The story is perhaps one of the stronger ones as far as the whole series goes, which is weird since it doesn't deal too much with the larger Assassin's Creed plot. Then again, a smaller story is perhaps what the series needs. Assassin's Creed Rogue. I know you were expecting Assassin's Creed Unity, but the way that these games jump through time, I wasn't sure which one of these would come next. I went with Rogue since it happens before Black Flag, so another prequel. The game was released on the same day as Unity, but was purpose-built for the older generation games, in the same way that Unity was purpose-built for the current gen. Rogue is about Shay Patrick Cormac, an assassin who betrays the Order to become a Templar. The game plays with that in clever ways in that many of the enemy characters that use assassin techniques from earlier games, like hiding in the bushes, blending in with the crowds, and performing air attacks. The game also leads directly into Assassin's Creed Unity, with the final level being a prologue to that particular game. Assassin's Creed Unity. Right, so Unity was the first Assassin's Creed game with development focused on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Although the focus was kind of off because this game is remembered less for that than for the Glitch-Appaloosa. It was a broken game, let's just admit that right off the bat. But when everything worked out, it was pretty cool. This time you played as Arno during the French Revolution. The game's main hook was cooperative multiplayer, so the player could be joined on mission by other players, all working together to take down the Templars. Other new features included character customization, multiple weapons to master, and the Silent Blade, a new hidden blade that could be fired like a projectile. This all leads to the upcoming Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but I'll have a different video all about that coming up later. There's so much more to speak about. There are a bunch more mobile games and novels and comics that round out the franchise even further, but it could take a literal 700 years to cover them all. The point is, if you want to get into Assassin's Creed, there's a ton to get through. Thank you so much for watching. If you love Assassin's Creed, please comment below. Tell me what your favorite Assassin's Creed game is. If you're into Assassin's Creed, make sure that you check out the cards in the top right hand corner. I'm going to be doing a lot more Assassin's Creed type stuff in the next couple of weeks. Make sure that you subscribe and like this video. It really means a lot to us when you smash that like button. I'll see you guys in another video. High five a stranger. Adios.